Sometimes a kind word or a thank you is it's that simple, but more often than not, it's the smile, it's a hug, it's reciprocating. If someone does something good for you, trying to pass it forward. There was a commercial a while back that showed the first person opening a door for somebody, and then that person said thank you and moves on, and they pick up something for somebody that they had dropped, and it kind of goes on and on. And I think that in today's world, there's so many opportunities that you can kind of pay it forward when someone does something nice for you. And I think that's kind of this time of year, there's so much to be thankful for. Thanksgiving coming up, especially with the year we just went through last year. I think that being able to pass something on to somebody when something's good done for you, pass it forward. I think in our job, appreciation, when you see it from the student athletes, is when they take the things that you're trying to help them with, and they build on it. So they make the most of it. Whether it's classroom, and you're trying to get them the right help in the classroom, or tutoring, or to the right, get them scheduled for the right classes, and they make the most of it, and they benefit from that, and you see the return when their grades come back, and you see the return in their expressions, and what kind of joy and what kind of feelings of accomplishment they get out of it. On our campus, there's a lot of people that go into it being successful, our program being successful, the college being successful. So you can start with in our department, all the different coaches, the trainers, the communications department, go right down the list, and all the things that are done for the student athletes, and to see it all kind of culminate in a successful season or a successful career for a student athlete. You go to the faculty, our mentors that we have, are Tony Brunello, our FAR, what they have to do to help us be successful, and the appreciation that I have for them, and that our coaches have for the faculty and staff that kind of help us through the year, when there's something that we can't handle directly, or we need help with, housing, cafeteria, the list goes on and on. People say it takes a village, and it does. It takes our whole community, campus community, to get our students, not just student athletes, but students from A to B, whether it's their first year or whether it's graduation. There's so many people we count on to help us out, from our faculty staff, from our alumni, donors, the administration on campus. All these different groups feed into the overall success of our department, and for the student athletes as well. Getting them from first year to graduation, it takes that whole group, and we appreciate all their help. We as coaches, we always say words and actions. Actions speak louder than words, but both of them. We need, when we want feedback. So when we're doing something, or the campus is doing something for us, administrations or donors are doing something, it's the words and actions. It's taking what opportunities you've been given and making the most of them. So a thank you is great, a smile, a hug, those are all good things. But for me, I love to see the student athletes, and I love to see the coaches take advantage of things they're given and build on those. So I think that, the student athletes being positive, working hard, I think that's a payback for me. That shows me their appreciation for what we're giving them. Yeah, I think that goes back to what I said earlier. I think when you work really hard and you make the most of a situation, I think you show people that you appreciate what they've done for you. I think you have to say thank you. I think you have to pay them with a smile. I think you have to tell them how much it means to you and how much it means to your program. But I think ultimately, I like to see them work really hard and benefit from what's been given to them. Now, I think we talked about how important our donors are to our program, and when you have student athletes that come through your programs and they have success and they graduate and they go on to do great things in their life, you want to see them turn around and do the same thing, like paying forward. Like I said earlier, you want to see them come back and say, now I want to help today's student athletes be successful. Whether it's by being a donor directly to the program, or whether it's by having an internship where these students can kind of get some on-the-job experiences and can network, but finding a way that they can give back also, I think, is a great way to say, hey, I really appreciate what Eckerd College did for me. As a player, and a student athlete, I'm thinking, well, gosh, it might be neat to be a coach. This is something that, I get to stay involved in the game. And, in that time in my life, I thought it's all about practicing games and X's and O's and wins and losses. And I learned when I got around Coach Harley as an assistant coach, and it was tough because I'm thinking, well, I'm a coach now. I'm just going to go to practice every day in games. You learn that it's much different. And it was, I appreciate everything Coach Harley did for me, obviously, as a student athlete and as a young coach. But the lessons that I was taught by being around him and other coaches like him, it taught me that coaching is so much more than the games. I mean, that's probably a small part of it, and we all want to win. We're all very competitive, otherwise you wouldn't be a coach. But it taught me that as a coach, you become a servant leader, and you're trying to lead these young men and women to have them grow and have them mature and leave Eckerd College and do great things. And, being a mentor, being an advisor, being sometimes just an ear to talk to, you learn that there's so much more. And that's something that, as a student athlete, I didn't realize what coaches really did. And there's so many people that felt the same way. I teased my wife, when we first got married, and she said, well, you just got to go to practice and games, and it's just so much more than that. And probably, while the thrill of victory and the agony of defeat, that old commercial, I mean, while those bring great joy and they're fun, they're part of the process, but just watching these students that are dropped off as 18-year-olds and graduate as 22-year-olds grow, that's a big part of it as well, and that's something that I really appreciate, that lesson. It was a tough lesson because those first couple of years, you think you're just supposed to show up at practice, and there's so much more that go into it, whether it's study hall, whether it's mentoring, whether it's helping someone set up their class schedule, whether it's helping them find summer jobs. That was a lesson that really went a long way, and I'm still learning today, the different things that happen now as athletic director. Being as an athletic director, do you just go around and talk to the coaches? No, you're doing much more than that. You're talking to student athletes, you're having to fundraise, you're having to go out and find opportunities that can help our student athletes network. So, I think that would be one of the hard lessons that I learned that I appreciate, getting there.